Good evening, friends. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, Agent 56 with the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, and this is Cosmic Connections. We meet on Wednesday evenings around 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, and we talk about astrology, and we do spiritual messages, and I like to talk to you and see how your week has been going and how your week is unfolding. And we take a look at primarily the moon's phases, the moon's cycles. All right, so welcome aboard. Would love to hear from you in the chat. Good evening, Paula. Hello, welcome. And as I'm doing this live, if you'd like to share the webinar, I'm most grateful. I do a little drawing here as well for our Lunar Lights Club, which is a phase subscription service that I do. I do a lot of things in astrology. Most of all, I talk to you, and been doing astrology for nearly 40 years, I think. But in any case, thank you for sharing, Paula. You just shared. And Paula, I think I owe you a Lunar Lights combo. So please give me a PM and I'll set that up for you. So let me know where you're coming in from as well. How is everyone today? This is a disseminating phase. Dissemination means talking about the full moon. Well, or anything else. It's just a time of talking. And we'll talk about talking. We'll talk about communications in just a minute when I bring the slides in. So has this been a week so far of reflection, networking, communications? Because once we hit the quarter cycle, we are in work-a-do mode. And so I'm going to be doing two phases with you. That's the essence of what I'm trying to communicate. So this all traces back, of course, to the new moon in Virgo, which was on the 14th of September. So technically, we're still in the Virgo cycle, and we have 8 phases that we speak of. So yesterday was the disseminating phase in Gemini, and this Friday, the 6th, we go into fourth quarter, last quarter phase when the moon goes into Cancer. So I got that cleared away. And so as we are going through the phases, I will pinpoint where they are in your chart, and let's take a look at the phases with the slides. All right, Virgo cycle, phases, dissemination, and last quarter cycle. Sorry about this printing here, but I'll go through this. Just a big hello to everybody. Oh, Jerry's mentioning about her reflection. And yes, that makes so much sense. Thank you for sharing, Angie. Unbelievable weather. Yes, we just got swimming. I agree with you, Christy. Of course, I'm beaming in to you from around the world, actually. Right outside Buffalo, New York, we had 80 degrees today. A very warm, beautiful day. And I was doing an activity which kind of speaks of the aspects I'm going to be talking about right now with you, because it's kind of a dreamy type of phase. First of all, yesterday, disseminating. Newly opened lands offer pioneers new experiences. So that's the other question of the week. Have you been feeling in the past 48 hours, 24 hours, I want to start something new. I want to have a new open vista. Have you had an issue that's been bothering you for perhaps weeks? I know I did. And then things are beginning to shift in a more positive way, unbeknownst about what tomorrow might bring, because it's a pioneering type of aspect. So we're looking at 11 degrees of Gemini in your chart. That's the keynote. So that Gemini is trining Hygeia. All right. So you can see it here in I use Hygeia. I do use a lot of asteroids that maybe other people don't, just because I'm always interested in A, public health, and B, in psychic spiritual development. So I use those asteroids. So here's our moon, 10 degrees. It's trining the sun and Pallas Athena and trining Hygeia. So what that is saying to us is a grand trine We're looking at perhaps public health issues. We're looking at what works for us, what doesn't work for us. We're also looking at advocacy. When we find our Pallas Athena, we talk about passion and advocating for something. It's a very mental realm because it's in an air sign. So that's the past 48 hours or so. And because the moon is squaring Neptune, it's not there yet, friends. It's going to be, again, Eastern Daylight Time in about 4 hours from right now, actually tomorrow. That gets us in the realm of dreams and soul work. So you may be feeling a little spacey, a little transcendent, trying to put together this energy of the unconscious in some ways in your life. It's in water. We have a grand trine, water energy, Saturn, Ceres, and Vesta. Now, let's make that into a sentence. Saturn is discipline. Ceres is food. Vesta is spiritual practices. So that might be going on in your life too. How can I become a better steward of my physical body through nutrition? But if you are, and I think it was the United States had the emergency broadcast system, a very strange day in some ways at 2:18, I think it went off. Anyone hear that? And I think also Israel was also on board with doing this broadcast system alert. Now, we've always had broadcast systems. This one is very different because they're using 5G and our phones were being activated. I know some people who had the system activate in Spanish. However, there are, quote, I don't like that word. There's no, let's throw that C word out. There are theories that there's something a little bit more than meets the eye. The astrology shows that. Discussions about what went on, and also discussions about what we can't see, touch, and feel. That's Neptunian, right? But Saturn's opposite Black Moon Lilith. So we have questions. What are they, or the people who are behind the broadcast system, really doing? It's a rabbit hole moment. But of course, it's a Gemini disseminating. So a lot of people are talking about it. I make no claim to understanding how this system works at all. However, the astrology clearly says that people are questioning Saturn authority today with Black Moon Lilith, the shadow energy. Of course, you can apply that to all the politics out there in North America, or at least the United States as well. We won't even go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, we're talking about things during disseminating, and we'll be talking and discussing and reflecting. We want to look where 11 degrees or 10 degrees, I always round it up to the next degree, of Gemini is in your chart, because there is a positive energy with this, newly open lands, offering pioneers new experiences. But the more important phase is really going to be the last quarter phase. If we were to divide up every cycle, we would want to focus on the four major ones: the new quarter phase, and also the full moon phase and last quarter phase. That forms the structure of every single month, because at the quarter phases, that's when we're motivated to take action and to rebuild the template somewhere in our lives. So for us, this Virgo cycle, it's at 13 degrees of Cancer. Now, this happens to be the degree of the United States' sun. And so it starts on Friday. It starts at 9:48 in the morning. So this weekend might stir up a lot of activity, a lot of drama to get things accomplished in your life, whether that be a project, whether that be motivating you to redo your schedule, to clean the house, to do anything along these lines. And you can make this same prediction, so to speak, for the United States of America, because there was this historic vote when the Speaker of the House was let go. So that's very historic, and there's a redoing, a rebuilding that's going on in this country right now. So keeping that in mind, find the 13 degrees of Cancer in your own chart. And the rebuild is taking emotion with, of course, the logic of Libra, forming a 90-degree angle. Meanwhile, friends, we might be releasing old relationships, at least in our minds, if not actively, because Mars is on the South Node in Libra. Libra is relationship, Mars is action. And then Mars is coming up to a square to Pluto. So be advised that we might be wanting to start from scratch in some ways regarding our relationships. Or if not breaking up with someone, you might be saying enough is enough. I really have to become a lot more focused on having my needs met as well as their needs as well. That might be an energy that's floating in our relationship world. Meanwhile, speaking of relationships, Venus, Juno, and Black Moon Lilith are all together in the sign of romantic Leo. We all want a relationship, but that Black Moon Lilith is reminding us that there might be other influences, especially with our romantic relationships. What's the other relationship? The old relationship. Is someone still thinking about their old partner? Or is there other clutter or other things that are preventing a relationship from going smoothly? That's focusing this upcoming weekend. So again, a lot of these influences might be just internal. They might not be reflected in the outer world. We also have Psyche, which is our psychic sixth sense, our sense of knowing things without our five senses, is opposite Sedna. I will be asserting my sixth sense, that's making a sentence here, regarding any power figures who can be potentially destructive. Sedna is the story of a princess of a king up in the Inuit tribe up in the Arctic who was actually killed by her father. That was archetypal, right? Husband, father. But in any case, we may be experiencing that sense of trusting your logical sense this weekend. And this is the phase I want to focus on when I go through your charts right now. So I say hello to Kelly and Terry and Jamie and Kim. Hello there, Susan. Happiest October to you. Hello, my dear Brigitte from Toronto. Hello, dear. Nice to see you. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Rhonda. Hello, Brenda, Sharon. Big hellos and hugs to you all. And okay. Oh, that's interesting. Christy's reporting that her daughter is doing an emergency drill on Friday at school. That is interesting. I guess it's okay if you name the area or the school per se, but I've not heard that either. So there's a lot more of that emergency energy too. I think that's floating in the air because of Mars coming up to Pluto in a square. And I'm going to make something very profound statement in just a minute here. When I find, here it is, it's flipping through here. Here's the profound statement. I have found that astrology should be best used as an archetypal reflection. It doesn't necessarily say something will happen, but it often can reflect and describe, not so much predict, but describe how we might be feeling about something. So when we have a Pluto and Mars square that's coming up, for example, this upcoming week, it doesn't necessarily mean a total angry, warlike destruction that destroys, because this happens routinely, right? I mean, Pluto will square Mars throughout human history, but we might be feeling some of these concerns in our own psyche. So always remember that when we're working with the astrology. And like a full moon doesn't necessarily mean a breakup. It might mean you have dissatisfaction with your partner. So we don't want to take any of this literally. I mean that sincerely. So I hope that made sense. All right, let's talk about where this rebuild is happening in all of your charts. If you're Aries or Aries rising, this begins on Friday, and that takes us up to literally the solar eclipse of October 14th. It's a Saturday. I got to spit this out. So much I want to say. So the last quarter is when we're rebuilding. The new moon on the 14th is like a turbocharged new moon because it's the first Libra solar eclipse in 18 years. It's very powerful. And of course, your humble astrologer is going to be having a mini retreat on that day, and all those details are on my website. So I hope you can come. I'm going to be doing some virtual stuff as well. For this upcoming week, if you're Aries, you want to rebuild something within the home or family relationships. Literally, you might be doing some remodeling or some changing, wherever you find that in your life. You might be looking at partnerships and relationships, family dynamics in a new way, rebuilding them. If you're Taurus or Taurus rising, the rebuild has to do with your relationship with time management and maybe perhaps doing something with clearing the clutter in your workspace, doing something in your everyday environment that makes it more pleasurable and more efficient to function. For Gemini or Gemini rising, the last quarter phase, that Cancer energy, you're looking at finances, you're looking at ways to create more abundance in your life, how to turn perhaps a hobby into an income stream, and paying attention to the way you are working things out with your possessions, taking care of that which you have. All eyes on Cancer in the next week because this is your phase and it's time for you to accept your natural nurturance and your ability to care for others and trust your intuition and your charisma more readily, Cancer or Cancer rising. Leo or Leo rising, this might be a good week to kind of rest, meditate, and pray because that particular rebuilding is about your spiritual connection. For our Virgos, we're rebuilding your relationships with your friends and your associates and your groups and being a little bit more social in the next week. For Libra or Libra rising, a great week to rebuild your career and your leadership abilities. For Scorpio, it's a great time to rebuild your communications, your writing, your teaching, and perhaps some travel to boot. For our Sagittarius friends or Sagittarius rising, this is a great time to rebuild anything having to do with your internal spiritual power, your mediumistic skills, and trusting your own ways of tapping into your grand sense of self. For our Capricorns, great time to rebuild your one-to-one relationships, your significant others, being a good partner and reminding your partner to reciprocate. With Aquarius or Aquarius rising, this upcoming week is all about your health, taking care of it, being a little bit more disciplined. And last but not least, Pisces, it's all about the fun, taking time to have a little bit, frivolity and flirtatiousness and this type of thing for our Pisces friends. All right, so thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring. I'm going to pick a name to receive a Lunar Lights Club. And the winner tonight is Susan Jaworski. Hi, Susan. Thank you for sharing. And please contact me directly. I might not have your birth information, but I would like to gift you with a Lunar Lights, which are videos and horoscopes for the month for Susan. Hi, Melody. Hi, Susan Price. Pam. Hi. Hi, Mary. Sheila. Seeing some friends from the past and the present and hopefully always the future. And now we're going to be doing and thank you for sharing very much, Leslie. Now we're going to be doing what's called the spiritual part. And I just do a couple of meet and greets and say a little prayer. And I just close my eyes and I use my finger in the chat to pick a name. So, dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light and truth for the highest and best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. And my thumb is on Jerry. Hi, Jerry. All right. I'm going to come to you. And Jerry, as I'm tuning into your energy tonight, I'm want to remind you that there'll be another summer. There was something about this past summer which was a little bit more, shall we say, disappointing. You weren't able to do everything you really wanted to do, but no worries. you did what you had to do. There was some caregiving and caregiving with friends and family that had to not wait until the fall. The fall is going to be a little bit more fun for you. There might be an outing this weekend. Feel free to give me feedback as I'm doing this, a fall festival or something along these lines. And nothing's going to deter you from planning something big for 2024. And what I mean by that, it feels like you've been a little bit on the fence about offering some new service or some new program, and you're putting things together and you want to launch in a couple of months. And this feels very, very good for me to share with you. Meanwhile, I'm getting a little bit of a guidance from someone in spirit. And this is an older gentleman who was very quiet in the last 4 or 5 years of his life. He had a lot of health issues. This could be a grandfather, but he was very vibrant, very handsome in his younger years. And he just slowed right down. But you always looked up to him because he had, I think this was a grandfather, was giving you snacks as a little one. And he's giving you this little pat that says, come on, honey, you can do it. You're a part of this legacy. You're part of this family. And don't doubt yourself. And that's the message from this grandfather figure. I'll leave that with many love and blessings, dear. All right, our next meet and greet here is Melody Marie. As I'm tuning in to you, and I know you're a Scorpio, so your birthday's coming up in about a month. This is a little nugget for you, friends. Sometimes the month right before our birthdays, we feel a little bit more insular, a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more fatigued physically, but more elevated spiritually. And I want to give that message to you right now, Melody. It feels like you are percolating some new ideas to help others on a spiritual or inspirational level. I'm seeing you doing a lot of writing, and some of this writing is just good old-fashioned, journaling. But from those entries, you can come up with some pithy ways to help others and to inspire others. Your communication skills and your psychic skills are combining in a stronger direction. You know what they say, mediums are just talkers, right? They're the go-between. They're the antenna. So your mediumistic skills are becoming stronger, and believe in them, and they're becoming percolating this past couple of weeks. I see a lot of reflection. I feel that there's a woman who wants to be recognized from the other side of life, Melody, and she may have been about 20 years older than you when she passed over. So if she was still alive today, she'd be 30 years older than you. And she does not feel like to be a family member as much as a teacher, mentor, or guide of some stripe. She's showing me kind of longish hair, part in the middle, and very upright and very physically fit, except when she passed very suddenly. She's giving you, she always believed in your talent and it could be a colleague, a teacher. She's not giving me a name, but she always believed in your ability to turn lemons into lemonade. And she says that is infectious, that you have gone through a lot of things in your life, and that's how you can help others, inspire them to do the same. Almost like as a coach or something like this, because she was like a coach. And I'll leave that with many blessings for you, Melody. Okay. 10 things I'm grateful for. Oh, okay. You've been writing that. You guys are awesome. 65 days of gratitude. Okay. Thank you for that, Angela. I would love to give you all messages, but it's our time to say goodnight. And please come back next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, if you are late night owls or in other parts of the country, I'll be doing an NCGR webinar at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through California's NCGR Southern California. Details are on my website. Number one. Number two, please check out a wonderful, wonderful webinar with Kelly Hunter. She's a fabulous astrologer. She's presenting through the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Now, if you want to know anything about Black Moon Lilith, she has written a book on Lilith and many other things. She's fabulous. She's one of the agents at the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. I highly recommend you taking that webinar. And I think that's all about it. I'll be talking more about my eclipse retreats next week. Stuff is on my web page, and have a beautiful, wonderful, productive last phase of the Virgo cycle. Until we meet again, big hugs and love, guys.